Kumba Iron Ore reported a rise in full-year profit boosted by higher iron ore prices and said that it expects export volumes to rise in the current financial year. Eleni Giokos caught up with the company's CEO Chris Griffiths and asked him about the year that was.
It was another fantastic set of results, and thanks for picking up on the safety. We don't always have this being picked up, but if you have a look at the focus that the mining industry as a whole has been getting on safety, the fact that we've been, for the first time since our inception, fatality-free for a whole year has been a great achievement for us. We're very proud of that. We're very proud of an overall 33% improvement in our injury frequency rate. So all round as a package, I think we're very pleased with our safety performance.
And of course, just looking at the incentives for your employees as well, you've obviously been giving back quite a bit. And now we know that government is talking extensively about a potential 50% tax for mining companies in South Africa. How are you taking this up? And do you think that Kumba should be exempt given the fact that you're already giving back significantly to communities?
Look, I mean, 2011 was a great year for us. Well, both 2010 and 11. Recalling 2010 was when our community trust was finally paid up. That community trust, last year we reported, was worth about 5 billion rand in the company. That's now worth 9 billion rand in the company. The community trust this year got 500 million rand in dividends alone. And then also in 2011, our employee share scheme that we paid out 2.6 billion rand to our employees for 6,000 employees was a great achievement. So all round, we think we are doing a great job. We think mining companies in general, but Kumba has done a great job. Our black empowerment partners are doing well. And how that translates into what future taxes will be, I'm not sure. I think there's been some initial speculation, some initial comments made on the report within the ANC. I think that the comforting fact has been that the ministries have been saying that they would engage with industry and they'll talk about taxes and they're not going to overnight impose some taxes on industry. And I think that gives us some comfort.
How important is this resource rent tax when it comes to new investment in South Africa? It seems that mining royalties will then be dropped to around 1%. It's currently sitting at a cap of 7%. Are you going to be involved in the debate going forward?
There certainly is no policy in government at this point in time, so I think it is too early for us to speculate on what numbers could be, whether it's royalty, whether it's super profits, or whatever the taxation may be. I think the comfort that we gain is that the ministries have been saying they would engage with industry. We would have an opportunity to comment. You know, nobody likes to hear that they will be taxed at super taxes and 50% taxes. And those kind of numbers would deter investment in the future. But I don't think it's any time now for us to be starting to comment on that. I think let's engage with government and see where that takes us.
Also quite exciting when you look at Kolomela mine, 5 months ahead of schedule and then delivering 1.5 million tonnes of production for the year. You are looking to ramp up production of between 4 million and 5 million tonnes this year. How did you get this right when you came in 5 months ahead of schedule? Usually we see delays when new mines come on board.
Yeah. Kolomela has been a great success story in all aspects. I mean, it's been 23 months. There's not been one single lost time injury on that project and on the mine. The mine's been going now for over 2 years, hasn't had one lost time injury. So the safety's been great. We brought that project, and as you mentioned, there's not many big mining projects in the world that have been brought on ahead of schedule. So bringing a big mine like that ahead of schedule, 5 months ahead of schedule, means that we can, instead of doing about 2 million tonnes this year, probably between 4 and 5, and then hit 9 million tonnes in 2013. I think it's been a great performance by the Kumba team as well as Transnet to bring that rail line ahead of schedule. So I think it's been a combined great performance, safe and amazing performance by ourselves and Transnet to make that mine possible ahead of schedule.
Let's also touch on export sales. That is up around 3%. We know Chinese demand has been quite strong towards the end of last year. Of course, we started to see slight softening coming through. What kind of scenario do you foresee into 2012, given the fact that we're actually starting to see an increase in iron ore capacity on a global level, a lot of new mines coming on board? I know that Kumba has said that you still foresee supply constraints because of unreasonable weather patterns that are occurring in other territories such as Australia.
I think there is volatility in the world at the moment, and no one can deny that. I think the medium to long-term fundamentals of the iron ore business, we don't believe have been changed at all. If we have a look at the increasing demand by crude steel production right across the world, we don't see anything disturbing that long-term, medium to long-term pattern. And then at the same of the production, we don't think that there's going to be over capacity, and because of that, we still think there'll be very strong prices in even the short to medium term.
The market in South Africa is subdued. We even saw it coming through from the ArcelorMittal numbers, given the fact that they had quite a few shutdowns over the last year. Construction industry is still very much subdued. How do you foresee the South African scenario playing out into 2012?
Look, I think government are working very hard to try and make the investments in the country that we need that will accelerate economic growth. If you have a look at the presidential teams that have been put together to try and break this infrastructure deadlock, getting all the ministries to working together in the presidential task team, I think those are all very positive moves. Those are the kind of things that we need that will accelerate development in the country, and that then in turn will grow GDP.
ArcelorMittal, Sishen Iron Ore, we know, and in fact we were talking to the ArcelorMittal CEO earlier this week. She's very confident that things are going to work in their favour. What is your view with regards to the outcome, the potential outcome? Very controversial topic over the last few years, of course.
Sure. Look, I think when both parties decide they need to take this case to court or to arbitration, it means that both parties hold strong views. And we've heard AMSA have strong views, and we have strong views, and it's because of those two positions that we believe that this will only be resolved in an arbitration.
Export sales are up around 3%, of course, largely due to what we see coming through in China. Monetary policy tightening last year. We're starting to see a loosening coming through in this year, given the fact that there is a big fear when it comes to the growth potential in China. Do you still see a very positive market into 2012 and largely pushed forward by China?
I think we're still in quite a good space. There will be volatility in the first 6 months of this year. I think you will see the fact that the world hasn't yet recovered, but as you've just mentioned, there's lots of positive signs, and the big thing is if the Chinese government soften fiscal policy, I think you're going to see the second half being much better, and we could yet have a very strong 6 months in the last 6 months of this year. I think the first 6 months will be fairly flat, but it's still a very good business, very high margins for the iron ore businesses. Even at the price that we've got now, that price has recovered from where it was at the back end of 2011. So I think, again, we should see a very positive outlook for the iron ore market and for Kumba in 2012.